This team, this Clippers defense looks like they don't know what they're doing and they're not connected. It's honest. It's like an utter embarrassment.
Free
to watch.
Kawhi
It really
Leonard.
is.
It's a waste of Kawhi.
The Mismatch, presented by FanDuel Sportsbook.
The shocking thing on the Luka front is how dismal that defense for the Clippers has been, which has just been downright shocking. Forget the Luka numbers. These guys, yes, they're hitting threes. They're also walking in to wide open threes. Like these they're not even taking them under duress. Mm-hmm. You watch it and you're like, bro, this is the playoffs. What are you doing? And there is such a dysfunction and such a I don't understand how you have the record you've had. You've played 72 games, and now it's playoff time, and you don't have a semblance of structure and who my guys are. It's banana land, honestly. Like, Terrence Mann's not playing in the series. He's played like the last 20 games of the season, right? Like he's been a part. He's been playing like minutes.
15 minutes in the second half of game 2, I think, and that's it. And he played pretty well.
It might have been the last 15.
Yeah, it might have been. Yeah.
And so, so it took you 3 quarters into game 2 before you even put him in the game. You spent a fortune on Luke Kennard. He can't get a minute. You got Reggie Jackson and Pat Bev and Marcus Morris as your other 3 start. I'm not kidding you. I would have 3 different starters than what he has. Now, Ty Lue, praise to him. He got the job. But no lie, Kevin, I'm talking on that roster. I would start Rondo, Kennard, and Ibaka. That's who I would roll. Like, I look at their roster and I go, that's not even... I forget, like, I wouldn't start Reggie Jackson. I wouldn't start any of the 3 that he is starting if I'm trying to put together who I think my best players are on this team. And what the hell did you give up something? Theoretically, you gave up something for playoff Rondo, right? Like, that's why you gave up something. He was going to be a buyout guy.
You gave up minutes for Terrence Mann. You gave up minutes for Luke Kennard just by getting, and Rondo, like, not taking anything from Rondo.
Yeah, you know. But why is he not like, and you needed like a voice and you need somebody that's been in the big moments. And it's like, well, then what's the point? Now you're going to make him a backup point guard. So you don't have that anymore.
I was texting with the Ringers, Isaac Lee, former producer of the show here, about the Clippers recently. And he brought up the smart point, and I agree 100% with him. The Clippers have like too many passers, guys who just aren't buckets. Rondo's a passer. Beverly's not a scorer. Reggie Jackson is neither. It's like you just don't have guys in this backcourt who can get you a bucket. And I mean, Lou Williams, like, he fit wise was not great. Defensive liability, it seems like he wasn't the same offensively in past seasons without Harrell, but at least he could get you a bucket. And it feels like this team lacks those guys. And think about the way in which we just talked about the Lakers, the way we talked about their chemistry and their hustle and their effort, the heart that they play with. This Clippers team lacks all of that. They don't have those hustle players. They don't have that chemistry. They don't have that cohesiveness playing with each other on the court that it can easily be observed by anybody. Like, you don't need to be
LeBron. That's LeBron, though.
It is a LeBron factor. Well, regardless of what it is, it's more than just LeBron, though. I think it also is. You got to give credit to an Alex Caruso, to a Kyle Kuzma for buying in. LeBron or not, you can still say the same thing with the Clippers. Why would you not want to play at that level?
I'm saying LeBron demands that, though, Kev.
I know, but that's what I'm saying is, like, you also need to demand that out of yourself, though, too. Yeah. And I think it's partially a personnel thing with the Clippers around Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. Kawhi does not demand it out of you like LeBron does. No. Paul George definitely doesn't demand it out of anybody or himself. So it's the type of thing with this Clippers team is they lack that heart. And that's observable with other teams, but it's not with them.
That's the thing where it's like, if Kawhi, and you just accept that he's not going to be the vocal guy, even when times get tough. That's just not his thing. That's where you realize that you need those Kyle Lowrys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's on that title team. I promise you, there was not a huddle that you got in. There was not a locker room that you stood in that if something needed to be said, it was left unsaid. And
Lowry demands excellence.
Yeah, and when I told you the other day, I got a tweet the other day from a guy. I guess he said he could hear me saying this. I guess I said this last year where when they were losing the series was falling apart against Denver, and I said the problem is I have this real sense that Kawhi goes to the locker room, he puts on his sweats, and he goes home, and that's the end of that. And he'll be there tomorrow, and he'll be there for the next game, right? But I mean,
he'll drop 40 again.
Yeah, but I mean, but like nobody's saying anything. Nobody's doing anything. It's just like, all right, it's just like this unsaid frustration that they all feel, but they don't have that voice of that guy. And it's very hard for it to be Ty Lue when years ago there was I covered Hubie Brown, and he had been a broadcaster for many years, but he came back to coaching. He won 50 games his first year, full season as the coach, and he ran at the time a 10-man rotation, and there were 5 guys, and it was a 10-man rotation, and he had 2 5-man units. And
like a platoon.
Yes. And at the 6-minute mark, the second unit came in. And there are downsides to that. There can be. But he had a conviction about this, and he played it. And I'll never forget one of the lessons. I learned so much basketball covering him for the year that I got to, because one of the things he talked about was at that time, there's 12 guys on the roster. And he said, okay. He said, so he's got 10. And he said, 10 guys are going to come to the gym every night, and they are going to know exactly what is expected of them. They're going to know exactly their role on the team. They're going to know exactly how many minutes they're going to play. All right. And that's the way we're going to do it. And those 10 guys now have the buy-in, and they know what is expected of them, and they know what they're doing. And at that time, as I said, the roster's 12. And he said, because he goes, there's going to be 2 guys, and 2 guys hate me. But those 2 guys that hate me, they have no audience, because I got 10 guys that overwhelm it, because 10 guys are happy. They are happy with what's going on with their careers and everything else. And then the 2 guys, they can be poison, whatever, but it doesn't float because you got 10 guys. And I think about that so many times when, say, the Clippers, how many guys drive to the arena knowing what's expected of them? How many guys think, here's what I'm asked to do. Here's how many minutes I'm going to be playing, and you F with kids' brains. And I say kids, but like sometimes it's grown men, but like take Terrence Mann. The hell has he been playing 20 minutes a night for the last couple of months? I mean, and now you just abandon him as soon as we get to the playoffs, and then you pull it off and you say you played the last 15 minutes. Well, now, and I don't know Terrence Mann, but I'm just saying, if you go into the locker room and you're like, bro, I don't know what the hell's going on here. Like, bro, I was playing and I'm not playing and blah, blah, blah. And well, guess what? He has an audience of 9. If I'm talking about the audience, a disgruntled player on that 10-man rotation team had an audience of 1 that they could bitch together. If Terrence Mann says that, there's 9 other guys that are going, man, I don't know either. Like, I thought I thought I was going to be playing this. I don't know why he's playing this guy with this guy. We'd be better off doing this. And nobody's particularly happy with the way stuff's going. And it's like, I don't understand how you get to the playoffs and then you get to game 2. And then, he might just be a bozo. I'm sorry. Did you hear him after the second game? He's like, oh, well, they hit a lot of threes in this game, but now they got to go home and do it. I'm like, You think that's going to be harder? You think it's going to be harder? Like Luka played in his first playoff game ever in Dallas. You think it? What? Now they got to go home and do it? What are you talking about, bro? Like, I'm like, are you a bozo? Like, I'm having trouble watching this because I don't know. I don't know. And we said they were done if they lost those first two, and I do. I think they're done. I may regret the hell out of this, but I mean, it's hard for me to fathom them winning 4 out of 5. Well,
I mean, I'll tell you what, Chris, with the Clippers, it's very clear watching them on defense. They don't know what they're supposed to be doing. I mean, the minutes part that I don't think a lot of guys know. On court part, I don't think they know either. You know, I look at this team. I said before the series, like, the Terrence Mann can be pretty important. He didn't play game 1, didn't play a lot game 2. Terrence Mann is one of those energy guys, those hustle guys, those player who just improves the vibes on the court for you. He brings good vibes. It's not there. I'd like to see that inserted for them. I'd like to see Luke Kennard get more of an opportunity. I think that the Clippers failed Luke Kennard over the season. I don't know like how good of a player he is in LA. We didn't get an opportunity to see it. I do know the player in Detroit last season was a good player who on
the numbers
paper,
aren't bad. And let me tell you this, Kev, this is crazy because this was it's one of the worst Memphis losses all season.
Is that the one Kennard went off?
He had his career high. I'm watching that game. I'm watching that game, and I'm like, this dude finally plays Luke Kennard, and he just drops 30-something in this game. And I'm like, this dude is on fire.
So this is why Kennard should be in the rotation, because you need a guy who gets you buckets like we talked about earlier. He's a bucket getter. You need to have Terrence Mann in the rotation because he's a guy who brings that hustle and energy and heart and love for the game to the floor every night. He's unselfish, all these qualities you want in a role player. He got it all. Those two guys need to be in the rotation. And the thing overall this season, I don't get how you give any player $64 million over 4 seasons, $64 million. And then you play him 19 minutes per game, inconsistent minutes, up and down, all season long. And then you pull the plug in the postseason all year long, just to play the vets, You play what's comfortable.
Who aren't even good.
Instead of investing,
they're not good.
Instead of investing development and getting Kennard minutes playing alongside the best players he's ever played with throughout his career, I feel like they didn't give it an opportunity. And I think that's a shame because I think this Clippers team on paper, they should not be down 2-0. Like, it's a joke. It's a joke.
Ridiculous.
That they're down 2-0. They are not this bad. Their roster, be way better.
Look, dude, they have the players on the bench that could do it. Their best big is Serge Ibaka. I don't care what anybody says.
Ibaka is a little limited right now, health-wise. But to your point, like he does have those qualities.
Limited Ibaka is who I would rather have out there than Marcus Morris or Zubac or whoever you want to run out there. That Reggie Jackson could never.
You're not a fan. You're not a fan of seeing Zubac switch on the perimeter against Luka.
Oh my god!
You're not a fan of that, Chris?
I mean, it's like I'm watching Shrek in a basketball game. Ridiculous.
Well, I mean, unfortunately, like even Shrek couldn't stop Luka. Like there's really no defense for Luka. The Clippers, they've failed at executing certain defenses, but they've had moments where they've executed well. There's no defense that they've tried that has come close to looking like it can slow down the Mavericks. Not a single one. Not one. You could throw Shrek out there.
They also
Zubats. It's not going to work.
They also don't give the effort required.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They
don't communicate, it seems.
It's not. Well, that's because you don't play with the same effing guys ever.
And sometimes it feels like one guy in the pick and roll is going for a blitz. One guy is trying for a switch, and it's all discombobulated, and then the help defense doesn't know what they're doing. Everybody's out of position, and then boom, KP dunk, and then boom, Hardaway 3, and then boom, Luka layup. It's just happens so fast, and this Clippers defense looks like they don't know what they're doing, and they're not connected. It's honest. It's like an utter embarrassment.
Free
to watch.
Kawhi
really
Leonard.
Is.
It's a waste of Kawhi. It really is. It's sad.
It's a shame.
He dropped 30 points in the damn first half of that game, and I was like, oh boy.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to. He's there for it, and then you look at the end of the game, and it's like, I mean, just the body language is so bad. I mean, it's just, how do you lose that game with your back against the wall like that? And now you got to go to Dallas, where Luka's going to get to play in a playoff game in front of his home crowd for the first time ever. Good luck.
Good luck. And one quick thing on what I look forward to seeing in Game 3. This is a stat from Second Spectrum. Patrick Beverley was brought into the pick and roll as the screener 13 times in Game 2. That's the most in recorded history that he's been brought in to be like the guy defending the screener, because the Mavericks were constantly trying to get Luka switched on to Patrick Beverley, who Luka, of course, called too effing small after Game 1 and then too small during Game 2. I want to see how the Clippers respond to that. Will Beverley even be getting minutes? How will they change what they do there? Will they switch that screen? What are they going to do on defense? They've had no answers so far. I look forward to seeing if anything changes in Game 3, because thus far, everything they've done has been an utter, absolute failure.
I mean, look, your best chance is you just decide, I know the way we've been doing it. I know you want to be conserved for offense. Kawhi, it is, we're not switching anything. You're not leaving him ever. That's your assignment tonight. You are one of the best defenders in the world. All you have to worry about is that. We'll box and want it if you want to, but the only thing you're worried about is Luka. That's it.
I'd love to see that.
Shut him down.
Love to see it.
But that would be, I mean, again, if I can't figure out, if I'm their coach and I can't figure out anything else, that's one thing I could figure out. I could say at least he is the engine that makes this whole thing go. That's the job. That's it. The other stuff will come. But if you can make him inefficient, if you can bother him, and if you can take him out of a lot of possessions, then it'll go a long way, maybe the whole way, towards us being able to beat this team. And so it's the thing you have to do, because, come on, running out Batum and Beverly and all these Reggie Jackson, whoever you want to get out on him.
Too small, as Luka said.
It's ridiculous.
Small.